What I want to show is how a planet brings the energy of the sign it rules and the house it rules to other signs and other houses. So we're looking at Mars, and Mars rules the first house of Aries. And so when it moves from one sign to the next, it combines the energies of that house and sign to its energy. So let's just look at the next, all of these things that Mars rules. It rules the self-image and self-identity, and it's a primal, your primal instinct. And it can be aggressive, it's temperamental or impulsive, all these things that I have written on here. It rules it rules your machismo, your it rules men. It rules how motivated you are and the kind of energy you bring to a house and the kind of self-image that you have of yourself. And so let's go to the next slide. And when it's in the first house of Aries, where it usually rules, it brings a double effect of the, you know, a lot of energy to self um, your self-image, or a lot of energy, just generally energy. Could be an exercising person, a lot of courage, or a lot of anger, or a lot of just get up and go. And that's just if it this means if Mars is placed in your first house in your birth chart. So the next house we look at is if Aries, if Mars has moved to the second house. And since the second house is ruled by Venus, which rules two houses, it rules Libra and Taurus. I have added both of those houses together, which is the second house and the seventh house. And so wherever, whenever uh, Mars is placed in the second house of values, money, and possessions, it can bring also the energy of the seventh house of partnerships and marriage to it, because they combine energy. So because Venus rules both houses, then your energy can be focused a lot. If it's placed in your second house, it could be focused a lot on earning money. It could be focused on love a lot, or your partnerships, or your possessions, or females in general, because Venus rules females. You could just like luxurious things, and you put a lot of energy toward that because Mars brings its energy and all of the traits that it has, it brings to whatever house it's sitting in. So the next house will be the third house. And again, this one is ruled by a planet that rules two signs. And the first, this is the third house that we're talking about. If Mars is placed in the third house, it's ruled by Gemini. And the other house that Mercury rules is Virgo, which is the sixth house. So the combination would be the house of communications, siblings, and elementary education combined with the house of work and health and daily routines and pets and habits and so forth. So what happens is when Mars moves into that particular house, third house, or this house, fifth house, then it combines that energy toward the things. So any of those things can be affected. It could affect your siblings because Gemini is ruler of siblings. You could have a lot going on in your mind, because Mars brings a lot of energy there. It brings the traits of Aries to it. So in the first house, so the self-image and the energy and the temperament that an Aries has is brought to the house that it sits in, which is ruled by Mercury, and that is the house of communications. It also rules the sixth house of work, health, and daily routines. So that energy can be affecting all of those things. It can be especially the third house things, because if it's sitting in the third house, or especially the sixth house things if it's sitting in the sixth house. It makes you super focused on those things that where it is. Put a lot of energy toward your possibly short distance communications, or learning, or toward caretaking, or your routines, or your and that's a Gemini thing, more the caretaking and pets and things. And with I mean, that was a Virgo thing. A Virgo thing is work, health, and daily routines and pets and so forth. But and caretaking and nursing and so forth. But whatever Mars brings your energy to that area that it sits in, so it combines with the energy of that house ruler, which is in this case Gemini, and the other one Virgo. So then we're looking at the fourth house, and that fourth house is ruled by Cancer. It's a water sign, which is an intuitive sign, and it's a dynamic cardinal sign, and it's the house of home and mother. And so this combines Cancer with Aries energy, and Cancers can be calm and conscientious and domestic and imaginative, introverted, intuitive. They can be psychic, because all water signs kind of have a little bit of a psychic vibe to them. They can be moody or quiet and protective of the home, and be sensitive, and yet they're really sympathetic and empathetic, and uh, they can be self-pitying or touchy, but Mars there probably brings enhanced self-image around your emotions. So it could be that, it could bring that home and mother, it could be emotions around your mother. Could be just that you have a lot of feelings about your home, just a very domestic person, all your energy there, or you might only feel energetic at home. You might get up and go and do your exercises from home and nowhere else. And so, it combines the energy of Mars and Aries to the home and Cancer traits. The next one is the fifth house, and that's the house of entertainment and romance. And so the house of entertainment and romance, it could be, um, it affects a lot of things. Your ego, your your presence, how you feel like you show up the dynamics of how you show up. And so if Mars is there, that combines with the fire energy. That's two fire signs together, and so a lot of motivation toward entertaining and romance, and Mars brings that sexual energy. So it could be a very romantic, uh, a lot of romantic interest, or a lot of interest in romance, a lot of energy toward creating and entertaining and being in the limelight and everything that Leo brings. So those two together with a lot of energy from Mars would combine with the sun's energy. And then if Mars sits in the house of Scorpio, then you've got Pluto that rules that house. And Scorpio is a water sign. It's intuitive. Any water sign is intuitive and psychic. And this one's a persevering fixed sign. So it rules the house of death, sex, and rebirth, meaning transformations. So if you've got Mars in that house, Mars will bring a lot of transformations in your life, and it's also the house of psychology. So you could have tied up with your image, self-image from Mars. A lot of you may view yourself as really into psychology, or having a lot of changes in your life, or having a lot of secrets, or obsessions, or you could be really into the occult. It activates, Mars activates wherever it sits. So and brings its self-image into the house. So um, Scorpio is a powerful sign. Pluto rules Scorpio, and it rules power and inner power, and so it's beneath the surface, being a water sign, a lot of beneath the surface, inner power and inner secrets and inner, just it could be other people's money. It could be money gifted to you, or because that's what that house rules. It rules gifts that you haven't, I mean, money that you have not earned through your own efforts, or that come to you somehow, like through, maybe you were willed it in a when someone passed away, they willed you money, or just gifted you some money, or the government stipends, the maybe welfare or something like that. So it would could bring a lot of energy and focus tied up with your self-image on money that comes to you from outside sources, or even sexuality, because both of these rule sexuality. Mars was originally the traditional ruler of this house, so uh, the energy is pretty big on sexuality for that house, with these two together, if Mars sits in that house. So anyway, so then if Mars is in the house of Sagittarius, which is a fire sign, and it has a lot of motivation, it's adaptable, it's mutable. Um, it rules a higher mind, long distance and foreign travel, and foreign relations and connections, and religion, and theology, and traveling. Sagittarius is known as the traveler. So if Mars is sitting there, it combines the energy of your self-image with all that Jupiter brings and Sagittarius brings, because Jupiter's the ruler of Sagittarius. And so and the ninth house. So in that ninth house, if Mars is sitting there, then all of these things are brought to you. Jupiter brings expansion, and you can be a philosopher. You can have a lot of emotion. I mean, you can have a lot of drive toward higher education or toward long distance and foreign communications and so forth. You might even have sexual experiences with a foreigner or at a long from a long with a long distance person from a foreign land or something, or in a foreign land, or in while traveling. Um, whatever whatever Mars brings to that house, it's, you know, a lot of energy. Could be even motivation toward traveling or motivation toward religion even, because Sagittarius rules formal religion, and it rules mentors, it rules professors. You could have a lot of motivation to be highly educated, possibly with having Mars there, which rules your self-image, and you may be very you may feel like you want to identify with all the things that are in that house, which is the higher education or traveling. And I guess that's enough on that one. The next one is the 10th house of Capricorn, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. It's an earth sign, it's practical, dynamic, and a cardinal sign, and rules the 10th house. That house, the house is the house of career and of father and the government and government structure, any kind of structure, any kind of methodical thinking, any kind of uh, um, it's ambitious and conservative and disciplined and persevering, and can be political, pretty realistic and responsible, and can be rigid and serious, and seeks money and status. And so all of those would be combined with Mars there. Your self-image would, and your energy might be put to all that, and basically it disciplines you and organizes your energy and so forth. So, and it could also be your self-image is tied up with your father and what the father brought to your life, or how his rules and restrictions affected you, or just your responsibilities. And somehow you might identify with the government and structuring things, and um, rules and responsibilities might be a big focus. You might have really structured exercise or something. Your your identity, the 10th house is your outer image, and so um, you could really identify with your career, because that house rules the career. So the 11th house is ruled by Aquarius, an air sign. It's intellectual and persevering and fixed sign. It rules ambition and rebellion, and it's altruistic. It can be friendly and humanitarian and inventive, really individualistic, odd, unusual, um, intellectual, can be inventive. Um, it's logical, perceptive, rebellious, unique, unpredictable, it can be explosive, can be visionary, can be eccentric or erratic. Um, anyway, so if it rules society at large and friendships, so you could come across where if with Mars combining that, you could be a revolutionary, a lot of effort put toward and energy put toward rebellion and a sense of freedom and individuality. It's also the house of gains, so you may really be intensely motivated to win and uh, have a lot of gains. Um, it also rules electronics and big tech, so you might have a lot of motivation toward technical advancement or something, or revolutionary thinking, that ingenious thoughts that are um, combined with your energy. You have may a lot of put a lot of energy into that. That's if Mars is placed in the house of Aquarius for you in your natal chart. And so then if Mars is in the 12th house, which is the house of Pisces, it's a water sign, it's intuitive and adaptable, immutable. It rules the 12th house of the unconscious and spirituality. And spirituality, it's like this under the surface energy. It bubbles up underneath. It's always there. You don't. It's something that's unconscious motivations. So your energy might be actually kind of submerged under this water intuitive sign, or you could actually, I don't know, it could bring uh, maybe psychic inspirations and connection to the divine. You might be super spiritual. Um, you might be really imaginative, might put a lot of effort into imagination and imaginative projects and artistic projects. Could make you be able to create a lot of maybe music and so forth. I know that I may have said this in another one on Michael Jackson. Pisces Virgo comes up as an axis in axis means the opposite sign. Those two ruling the opposite signs, Pisces Virgo, rule each are the axis with each other. And when I see those two usually on an ascendant or a midheaven and Imam they a lot of times you'll see talent in music, but Taurus rules the voice, so there's Venus for that. But Pisces Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which is communications and so forth. Anyway, I'm getting kind of off track. Um, uh, we're looking right now at what Mars brings to that house. So all of the energy of Neptune when when and Pisces and the 12th house all combine with your self-image. And so Neptune and Pisces, they're kind of a confusing or nebulous energy. It's a divine connection, but it's also an imaginary and isolating connection. So there it can bring losses. It's the house of loss. Um, Hopefully it doesn't bring hospitalizations. uh, with what the house of Pisces rules, it rules the feet, and Mars rules the head. So if you've got these two going together, there could be some kind of hopefully not accidents around the head or loss from something that happens to your head. And I can't help thinking that Michael Jackson with his, I think it was Pisces moon, he had that his hair on fire. And I'm again getting off track, but anyway, it's your energy and your self-image could be tied up with either spirituality or your imagination, or somehow how you feel is very dreamy. And so not only that, but it's a Pisces being a water sign, and it can bring psychic connections. So all water signs have kind of a intuitive psychic energy to them. It comes from the unconscious. For this one, it's the unconscious, the connection to the unseen world. So I don't know, you might be a medium or view yourself as a medium, or be confused and lose track of reality, or uh, have a problem connecting to reality. Hopefully not, but anyway, that's just something that might happen from these energies combining. It could bring, let me think, your first house of Aries, think the self-image, but also maybe your exercise might be connected to the other thing about Neptune is, water signs bring water too. Water could be somehow connected to your exercise. You might be a swimmer, and it might be intuitive. So, I mean, there's always the bad things to think about along with the good things. You can connect them by looking at your own chart. And like with Scorpio, I didn't mention that, but Scorpio rules poisons and so forth. So hopefully you wouldn't be poisoned when Mars is in that house, which is the 8th house. But anyway, I think I have a problem stopping when I start, so I'll stop for now. Thanks for listening.